Welcome to Cory's Conscious Living. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Lay down and get comfortable. Make sure that you're in a position where you can feel sleepy and snuggly and all still and quiet. Once upon a time, many, many, many years ago, in the North Pole, there was a very special old man. He was known throughout the entire world as Santa Paw. Santa Paw was like a grandpa to the whole world, and he was one of the sweetest, oldest, cuddliest men you would ever meet. He had quite a strange look. He had a big white beard and white curly hair, big soft brown eyes with white eyebrows. His face was all round and his cheeks were red and glowing. He always wore a big red outfit with a black belt and black boots and a hat, as it was very cold in the North Pole. Santa Paw had a special job. Every year he would go around the world and deliver a very special gift to each and every person that lived on the planet. He would give the same gift to everyone. He gave it to children, he gave it to adults, he gave it to animals. No one was left out when it came to Santa Paw. Santa Paw loved everyone as equal as everything else on the earth. His job was quite difficult, you know. It was difficult because he lived in the north, in the North Pole. In the south, it was known as Sunshine City, and there it was super hot. Everyone who lived in Sunshine City wore bikinis, shorts, and flip-flops. The whole city smelt like suntan lotion. All you could hear for miles around was fans and air conditioning systems. It was buzzing constantly. But the place itself was super beautiful. It had so many flowers, and the skies were always blue, and the sun was always shining, but it was so, so hot in Sunshine City. In the east, it was known as Evergreen Land. The whole east side of the world smelt like pine trees. Everything was green. It was like a giant garden. There were trees that were obviously green, wonderful flowers everywhere. There were green walls because the greenery had grown up the walls. The houses were green, the buildings were green, the lampposts and the night lights were green. Everything was green. If you parked your car for too long, greenery would grow over your car. Everybody moved super fast in Evergreen Land. They were all very healthy, obviously, because if they stood still, the greenery would very slowly start to grow over their feet. It was so green in Evergreen Land that you couldn't stand still. You had to keep moving all the time. And people wore gardening clothes, because all they were constantly doing was pruning back the greenery. They were constantly cutting the greenery off the cars, off the front doors, off the shoes. They were cutting back greenery all the time. They wore hats and they wore gloves and they carried pruning shears everywhere they went. It was a gorgeous, beautiful place, but Evergreen Land was quite intense. So the people that lived there were constantly moving, constantly on the go. In the west, it was known as Wind World, and there people lived with high-speed winds all the time. That's all they knew. That place was the bestest place in the world to fly a kite. People did things that involved the wind, obviously. Surfing was amazing. Paragliding, you name it, anything that you could do on the wind. You could skateboard and just be blown by the wind. It was a super cool place. Everybody wore coats because it was a little bit chilly there because of the wind, and earmuffs because you would get earache from all of the wind blowing in your ears if you didn't wear earmuffs. And then you had to wear goggles in Wind World because the wind would blow things up off the streets and it would go in your eyes if you weren't careful. So everybody wore goggles, everybody wore earmuffs, everybody wore coats. You never wore a hat because you would lose it very, very quickly. The place was very clean though. My goodness, if something landed on the floor, shoo, blown away instantly. Sunshine City, Evergreen Land and Wind World were all super cool places, but they all had their own problems. That's what Santa Paw thought anyway. It would come to that time of year, the time when everybody celebrated the holidays, and Santa Paw, well, it was his favourite time of the year. It was his time of year where he could deliver his special gift. The one gift that over many, many years of handing out different gifts, he decided was his most favourite gift from all the other gifts he'd ever handed out over the years. All the parents, all the adults, all the children, all the animals loved this gift. It was the best. He was excited. But these days, he realized when he went out to deliver his presents, he had to have luggage. He had to carry a big bag because, well, you can imagine, when he got to Sunshine City, his big red outfit was not appropriate at all. It was so hot there, that instantly he had to change into his red Santa Paw shorts that had reindeers and candy canes and mistletoe patterns all over them. They were super fun. He had to carry suntan lotion because he would burn, because living in the North Pole, they didn't get much sunshine out there. So he had to always put loads and loads of suntan lotion on. He had to carry his sunglasses. He had a little handheld fan that he would carry. That was just for Sunshine City. When he got to Evergreen Land, he had to change again. He had to wear his gardening outfit, which was green, and he had knee pads for when he needed to bend down, because he was constantly pruning while he was there. If he stood still for too long for one person's house to deliver his special, perfect present to one person's house, then he was in trouble. The greenery would start to grow over his feet. So he had special gardening boots, he had gardening knee pads, he had a gardening outfit that he would wear. He would have his gardening gloves and his pruning shears. That was just for the Evergreen Land bag. And then when he got to Windworld, well, then he had to put on a big coat again. Luckily, his big, red, warm fleece coat that he always wore in the North Pole would work just fine. But he needed earmuffs. He didn't wear those in the North Pole. He needed goggles for his eyes. He didn't wear those in the North Pole. And he always took a kite because it was so much fun to blow a kite and play with a kite there. He had 3 bags. He had a Sunshine City bag, he had an Evergreen Land bag, and he had a Windworld bag. That was quite a lot of luggage, as well as all of the special gifts that he had to deliver. He had quite a lot to carry. Luckily, Santa Paw was quite a strong old grandpa. He had good big muscles and he could carry a lot. It took him just one night, can you believe it? One night to go to Sunshine City, to Evergreen Land, and to Windworld to get changed in each place to deliver a present to every single being, the animals, the adults, the children. Just one night. The next morning was his most favourite part of the holidays. Santa Paw had a special gift. If he sat really quietly, he could hear the smiles and the giggles and the laughter from all over the world. That was his most favourite part. He would sit quiet and still with his eyes closed and listen. And as he listened, he could hear all the children, all the adults, and all of the animals opening the hug. And inside of the present, they would open it and the hug would come out and hug them. And everyone would feel so loved. The dogs, the cats, the elephants, the rhinoceroses. Nothing was left out when Santa Paw delivered his special Uggs. His Uggs were the bestest in the entire world. They were warm and safe and snuggly, and they made everyone feel happy and loved. And he would sit with his eyes closed and listen. And he could hear the giggles from the children, and he could hear the sighs and the sweet, happy sounds from all of the people all over the world that were being hugged by Santa Paw. Santa Paw was a very special grandpa. He was a grandpa to the entire world. And his hugs were better than any other present that anyone could possibly dream of. No iPhones, no new shoes, no new roller skates, no surfboards, no clothes, no makeup, no candy, nothing beat Santa Paw when it came to giving the bestest present in the entire world. Now, is that. If you haven't done so already, close your eyes, my little friend. It's time to start to dream about the holidays. It's time to start to dream about all the wonderful things that you could possibly receive, and hopefully you get a hug, a very special hug from Santa Paw. It's time to dream, relax, and get comfortable. Make sure that you roll over onto your side or you're cuddled up in your favorite position. It's not long now before Santa Paw could possibly bring you the bestest hug in the entire world. I would imagine all that you have to do is be the best that you can be. To try and be kind and compassionate and loving to all the people, all the animals, even the tiniest little ants. I would imagine if you're kind and loving just like Santa Paw, then you'll get a special hug, an energetic hug, sent all the way from the North Pole, a hug that's warm and safe, that makes you feel all cuddly and warm inside, like drinking cocoa, hot, milky, creamy cocoa on a warm or cold holiday morning, wherever you are in the world. It must take a very special person to be able to deliver a hug, not an ordinary hug, the bestest hugs. Everyone and everything, all in one night. Santa Paw is a pretty cool person. Relax your body. Let your head and your feet and your legs, let your arms and your tummy and your back all get comfortable and relax. I wonder where you would go if you had a place that you had to live. Would you live in Sunshine City, where it's always warm and everyone eats ice cream and ice pops all day long? Or would you live in Evergreen Land, where it smells like pine trees and it's always green and pretty and fresh? Or would you live in Wind World, where the wind is always blowing? Where would you live? Where would you be? Just notice how your whole body is relaxed now. You're calm and quiet and still. It's getting very hard to stay awake. All you want to do is go to sleep and have sweet, sweet dreams.